Hi, my name is Nerissa Fields, and it's a pleasure to be here this afternoon, asked by Jade, who's doing great work for pregnant women at a challenging time for us all. So I've been a yoga teacher for many, many years, and I have been working with pregnant women. I think this was probably my 32nd year of working with pregnant women. So when I first started teaching yoga to pregnant women, you don't think to yourself, I'm going to be doing this 30 years later. But I don't know what happened, but I'm still here. So it's a pleasure and a privilege. I've probably worked with about 2,000 women in that time. And I now have women coming to me saying their mum came to me when they was pregnant, which is kind of scary and shocking at the same time. So I have 3 children. I have 3 sons. One is 30 and the other 2 are 27. So I practiced and taught yoga through both my pregnancies. Yeah, my 27-year-olds are twins. And so you need your yoga for pregnancy, you need it for labour, and I haven't found a point in my life when I didn't need it. So let's look at yoga for pregnant women. So what I teach is yoga for pregnancy and lots of work for labour. And there's 3 important points you need to get you through labour. The first one is to work with your breath and low sound. Low sound good, high sound bad. So as soon as we start doing the session, we will start working with our breath. That is the first important point. And generally, when I teach the classes, I bring in sound 2 or 3 weeks into the course, but I will talk about sound now. In labour, you might want to make the odd sound. If you scream, it comes from here and you are not in control. The scream is touching the ceiling, it's touching the walls. Your baby's here, you're giving birth this way. So I introduce low sounds to use in the first stage of labour and low sounds for the second stage of labour. I've got a website, Yoga with Nerissa. On that, there's positive birth stories. So if you check out the birth stories, you will read about women who've used the breath and sound in labour. Right, so that's the first point, breath, low sound. The second important factor that will help you get through birth is to embrace it. If you do this, it will be terrible. So we want to embrace labour. We want to work with the contractions. We want to visualise opening up and letting go. So go for the birth you want. If you want a home birth, go for a home birth. If you want a water birth, if you want to give birth at Mountain Mowbray, go for the birth you want. This is all part of your second point, but have an open mind because anything can happen. I would love to sit here and say that if you did my sessions or any sessions with anybody yoga-wise, you would have a wonderful birth. Nobody can guarantee you that, I'm afraid, because anything can happen in labour that is out of your control. You've only got to have your baby's hand on his or her head and you will have a different birth. You could come into a class and say, oh, Nerissa, I'm 3/4 engaged. You could go into labour and your baby does a somersault and is breech. In my first labour, my baby wasn't pushing against the cervix. So things happen which are out of our control. And what we want to be able to do is deal with any eventuality. So the third important point that will get you through labour is this. I can deal with this. I can deal with this. I can deal with whatever happens. So that doesn't necessarily happen overnight. It takes a while to get to that point so that you can go into your birth and you can embrace it. You can use your breath, you can use your low sounds, and if it doesn't go to plan, then you can deal with it. And so the starting point to deal with it is working with the breath. So before we start the session, I want to talk a little bit more about the breath. We need the breath so that you can stay focused and calm. And this is the type of thing we need with the breath now in this very challenging situation, because there's a lot of people who are anxious. And, with with good reason. And so we want to stay as focused and calm as we can, and working with the breath will help you to deal with that. With the contractions, we want to breathe through the contractions. If you come across a book, it says that, the contraction starts here and it reaches a peak and goes up here and it comes down here, and you do this with the breath, you do that with the breath. I have to say, it's too complicated. All you want to do is sigh your breath out. Your mantra for labor is breath, movement, contraction, working together, breathing through your contraction. Okay, I'm open to questions. We'll do a little bit of time at the end for questions, or if you want any questions as the session's going on, just get in touch with Jade and then we can answer them. So the other thing is that when you're pregnant, we have all sorts of aches and pains, back, neck, shoulder, knees, whatever it is. Don't hesitate to ask, and I can adapt yoga movements for your specific needs. So what I want to do now is just do some work with the breath. So you can have your eyes open or softly closed, whichever's comfortable for you. Place your hands on your knees and sigh your breath out. And just begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And your breath is slow and steady and even. And this is the type of breathing to practice on a daily basis, to bring about that sense of stillness and quietness, to help alleviate stress and tension. Your breath is slow and steady and even. And just take your awareness to your neck. And the next time you breathe out, take your head to look over one of your shoulders. And just breathing gently. Be aware of your neck and how your neck feels. Breathe in as you come back to center. Exhale, change side. And hold. And breathe. Breathe in as you come back to center. Stretch the front of the neck from the collarbones to the tip of the chin. Not enough to feel the stretch, just enough. Not enough to feel the weight of the head, just enough to feel the stretch at the front of the neck. And slowly exhale, take the chin down towards the chest, letting go of the muscles of the back of the neck. And slowly bring your head back to center. So in all my classes, I say, if it hurts, don't do it. And that is particularly true in pregnancy more than any other class. So even a simple movement like that, if it gives you any dizziness, don't do it. And we can also discuss it afterwards. So what we're going to do now, we're going to breathe in as you take the arms up and breathe out as the arms come down. So it's a slow, steady rhythm. Breath, movement, working together. So generally when I practice and teach yoga, I teach breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. But we are preparing for childbirth, so we're breathing in through the nose and sighing your breath out. So think in terms of breath, movement, contraction, working together. You breathe in as the arms come up, and we're going to sigh. And this is what we want in labour. Breath, movement, contraction, working together. This is your birth, your baby, your labour. Your mantra for labour is breath, movement, contraction, working together. Let the next one be your last. And place your hands on your tummy next to your baby. And just begin to breathe in through the nose and sigh your breath. And you can have your eyes open or closed, whichever's comfortable for you. And let your breath be slow and steady and even. We don't have much space to breathe into the tummy, obviously, because I haven't got a baby inside me these days. But your baby takes up a lot of space, which pushes against the tummy, which pushes against the diaphragm. So just breathing, but make sure it's comfortable. There should be no tightness. Just let your breath be slow. And sometimes working with the breath doesn't come conscious, controlled breathing, this is. Sometimes working with the breath takes a while to get the hang. So we're going to take the hands underneath the armpits onto the rib cage and just begin to breathe in through the nose and sigh your breath. Your breath is slow and steady and even. And if your birth doesn't go to plan, if you need forceps, ventouse, an emergency cesarean, if you work with your breath, it will hold you in good stead. If you lose control, you can regain it by working with your breath. You have control. This is your birth, your baby, your labor. And place your hands on your collarbone. And just begin to breathe in through the nose and sigh your breath out. Your breath is shallow and you still have control over your breath. There is a sympathetic relationship between the mouth and the vagina. And be aware, visualizing, opening up and letting go. That will not take you into labor, by the way. Don't worry about that. It's a visualization. And this is the type of breathing to practice when contractions are intense. It's the type of breathing to practice in the second stage of labor. You may have an overwhelming urge to push your baby out. You may want to breathe and push. You may want to make low sounds to help deliver your baby. This is your birth, your baby, your labor. And just place your hands wherever's comfortable and let your breath take a natural, comfortable rhythm for you. Just breathing in through the nose and sighing your breath out. And while you're just focusing on your breath, I'd just like to talk about posture, because so often women come to sessions with backache. And one of the reasons for backache is posture. So what we need to do is we need to sit really tall. And these are positions I really don't recommend. So if you're sitting like this, I have to say, this gives me backache just to do it, but this is a wonderful position to get your baby's back against yours. So everything we do is for optimal fetal positioning. Another position, I don't know if any of you like to do this, you know the way people sit sideways and they have their legs like this. Can you see how twisted my back is? So both of those are not good if you're not pregnant, but multiply that by 100 if you are pregnant. What we want is optimal fetal positioning. So positions like this are very good as long as you don't have anything like SPD, symphysis pubic dysfunction, or pelvic instability. If you do, then you can get in touch with me. I was talking to Jade, we could do a question and answer about aches and pains and yoga movements which are good or not good. But so this, if you don't have any pelvic instability or SPD, as I say, this is excellent. Now, you might not know if you have either of those. If you have discomfort at the pubic bone, or if you find when you get in and out of bed and you're doing this, or in and out of the car, and that is giving you discomfort, then we want to do movements where you keep the knees together. So I'm working on the basis that you don't have that. If you do, just take your legs like this, okay? This is a very good position to sit in. If you sat like this for 9 months and worked with your breath, you would have prepared for labour. In this position, we're working on the inner thighs, the quadriceps, the buttocks, the lower back, the abdominal area, and the whole of the pelvic area. You have got to get from this size to this size. So forget dignity. Dignity goes out the window when you're pregnant. You want to get in touch with your primal soul. You want to do whatever you want in labour. If you want to go under the bed on all fours and moo like a cow, then you need to be able to do that. It's your birth, your baby, your labour. But also sitting around when you're pregnant is also undignified. So this is a very good undignified position. So if you have got one of those sofas that you sink into, then you can either sit on the floor with your back against the sofa or make sure you have a firm pillow behind you. This is also another really good position to practice in pregnancy. Sorry, you can't see my toes. The toes are towards me, the heels away, only so that you gently stretch the hamstrings underneath. Again, undignified, but using all those muscles, inner thighs, quadriceps, buttocks, lower back, pelvic area, preparing us for labour. And if either of those are uncomfortable, just sit like this. Now, all my equipment is not at home, it's at one of the places where I teach. I do have a low stool, I think a low little plastic stool. And again, that is very good to sit on. So we are actually now going to stretch the legs. So I hope wherever you are that you're sitting nice and tall. You can have your back against the wall or the sofa. Just going to have a little drink of water. Have your legs stretched out. You can also have a pillow under your knees if it's more comfortable. I'm going to go back a little bit more so you can just see my toes. So just take your toes back and forth. Even if you can't see mine clearly, then take yours forward and back. You can have your hands behind you. So we work on the toes, the heels and the ankles. So you have a gentle movement, a nice stretching the legs. Take the toes, the heels, the ankles all the way around and the other direction. So the movements we're doing now are really good for the extra weight you're carrying. Take your feet apart, let the toes drop in and out to the sides. I'm sorry if you can't see that clearly. Come in and out to the side. So you're working on the ankles, the knees, the hips. Just keep it going. And not only are they good for the extra weight you're carrying, they're good if you have got varicose veins, if you've got cramp, if you get edema when the feet, the ankles, I've had women with both their legs swollen. So the circulation is slowish when you're pregnant, and we want to keep the circulation going. Stretch the legs in front. Take one foot above or below the knee. If you are watching this and you've got discomfort with your pelvis or the pubic bone, have the foot right down here. If it's comfortable, have it up here. Remember, the beauty of yoga is it's non-competitive. You listen to your body. So you breathe in as you lift the knee up. Breathe out as the knee comes down. Breathe in as you lift. Breathe out as you lower. One more time, inhale in as you lift. Exhale as you lower. Let go of the knee, the thigh, and the ankle. And this is a little warm-up that I like to practice at the beginning of a session, but using the joints and muscles that we need for labour. Lift the foot up. Now, only do this if it doesn't, if it feels comfortable. If it doesn't feel comfortable for your pelvic area, don't do it. It's as simple as that. Stretch the leg in front. Changing side. Breathing in as the knee comes up. Breathe out as the knee comes down. The bigger you are, the less space you have got for the knee to come up. Just go as far as is comfortable for you. Breathe out as the knee comes down. Breathe in as you lift. Breathe out as you lower. Let go of the knee, the thigh, and the ankle. Lifting the leg up, just going from side to side. Stretch the leg in front. If you want to bend the knees and round the back, do so. Make space for your tummy. And take the feet together, the knees apart. Just have the feet where's comfortable for you. Again, if it's uncomfortable, have the feet right ahead. And you could even do it like this if you like. So sitting tall, let the spine rise, the shoulders drop, the chest be open, the chin be loose. If you want pillows for under your knees, have that there. It can be good to sit. I'm sitting on a block, but you could sit on a cushion, and you could have a cushion behind you. And just sitting nice and tall, and we're just going to sigh the breath out right down to the perineum. If you don't know where your perineum is, just send a message. Some women are not sure. So you inhale through the nose, sigh your breath out. Just get a slow, steady rhythm. And with each exhalation, be aware of opening up and letting go. Be aware there is a sympathetic relationship between the mouth and the vagina. Your breath is slow and steady and even. And just while you're focusing on your breath, breathing in through the nose and sighing your breath out, I just want to share with you that some women have found this posture useful in the early stages of labour. And you don't know what you want in labour until you get there. But what you do know is you want lots of ideas and stuff up your sleeve to use. And then take your legs apart. If it's not comfortable with the legs straight, bend the knees. And you don't have to have you can have your legs here if it's not comfortable with really wide apart. Just find what suits you. And sitting tall, keep the back long. And again, like the last posture, some women have said that they find this useful in the early stages of labour. So breathing in, take both arms up. And as the arms come down, we're going to go and again, breathe in as the arms come up and sigh your breath out. Think in terms of breath, movement, contraction, working together. Your birth, your baby, your labor. You have control. Sighing your breath out. Breath, movement, contraction, working together. In through the nose and sighing your breath out. Let your next one be your last. You want to bend the knees around the back, then do so. So in the early stages of labour, I don't visualise you taking your arms up and down. That is us preparing for labour. But like I say, some women have found both these useful. What we're going to do now is a set of movements called the 7-way stretch, which I've put together. And this is not for labour, this is for pregnancy. So it helps to stretch, strengthen, tone, and relax the whole of the body. And it's particularly good if find a comfortable position, the feet together, the knees apart. Again, if that is not comfortable for you, then choose a position that is. Spine long, chest open, chin lift. Breathing in, take both arms up. Exhale, the arms come down. Place your hands on your knees. Breathe in, lift one arm up. Now we're doing a twist. Let the twist start in the tummy and lower back. Only go as far as is comfortable for you. As you breathe out, you go round to the back. Now if you feel you have to stop here, do so. If you can go a little bit further, do so. Listen to your body. Breathe in as you come back. Exhale. And sigh your breath out. If it was a general yoga class, I would be saying breathe out through the nose. So even that, some people find difficult, even when they're not pregnant. Breathe in. Exhale, twist. Just go as far as is comfortable for you. Breathe in as you come back. Exhale. We're going to do a supported side bend. I'm going to have my hand like this. Now I don't have my hand flat. I'm going to be up on my fingertips. It's just here, as you can see. So breathe in, lift the other arm up. Exhale, you bend the elbow. You go over to the side. Roll the shoulder back. Breathe in as you come back to center. Exhale. Changing sides, breathing in. Exhale, over to the side. Breathe in as you come back to center. Exhale. So we've done a side bend, a twist, an all over stretch. We did this at the beginning. We're going to do a backward bend now. Place your hands behind you. Breathe in, open the chest from the base of the spine to the top of the neck. You shouldn't feel the weight at the front. You shouldn't feel the weight of the head. You should just feel the stretch at the front. Exhale. So we're going to do a forward bend now. So I'm going to do this sideways on. This is really good for stretching and strengthening the back. This is particularly good if you've got sciatica because it opens the lower back. So only go as far as is comfortable for you. This is the closest to a headstand that we get because the heart is higher than the head. And so if you've got any dizziness, go onto your forearms. I'll show you what we're going to do. So we're going to take the toes together, the knees apart. So you like this, lift the bottom up, slide forward. So you can be on your forearms. I know it's totally undignified, but it's really good for your back. And if you like, you can stretch forward and place your forehead on the mat. And then use your hands to push yourself all the way up. So as you come up, watch me again. I'm keeping my back nice and flat. I'm keeping my back really long when I go down. So we stretch and strengthen. So watch again. Stretch forward. You can be on your forearms. The bigger your baby is, the more you need your bottom in the air, and stretch more if comfortable. Push yourself all the way up and back. If there's any dizziness, don't take your head all the way down. We're going to do it all over again. It's always easier the second time round. And it's a set of movements. We're going to do it like this time. Have the knees bent if it's not comfortable. Just going to move my roll out the way. So it's a good set of movements to practice on a daily basis, which stretch, strengthens, tones, relax the whole of the body. I'll go backwards a bit more. And keeps your body in really good condition. So I've got a standing 7-way stretch for pregnancy and a seated one. This is the seated one, obviously, and I do have a postnatal one. Okay, sitting tall, wriggle the spine up, drop the shoulders. Remember, it's one breath, one movement. Breathing in, take both arms all the way up. Exhale. The arms come down. Place your hands on your knees. Keep the back long. Breathe in, lift your arm up. Exhale, twist. Just go as far as is comfortable for you. Keep going. In as you come back. Exhale. Turn the palm over, breathe in, change sides. Exhale, twist. Breathe in as you come back. Exhale. Fingertips towards you, hand on your mat. Breathe in, lift the arm up. Exhale, over to the side. Roll the shoulder back. Breathe in as you come back to center. Exhale. Changing sides. Breathing in. Exhale over to the side. Breathe in as you come back. Exhale, lower the arm down. Backward bend, both hands behind you. Breathe in, open the chest, looking up. Exhale. Take the toes together, the knees apart. Exhale, slide forward. Keep the bottom in the air. Stretch the back. Stretch. And as you breathe in, come up onto all fours. The hands are underneath the shoulders. The knees are underneath the hips. Now, sometimes people have, carpal tunnel syndrome, their wrists are achy. If this is uncomfortable, we're not going to hold it for very long. If you wanted, like you can see, you could do it on a chair. I've got a chair here that you probably can't see much of. Okay, so we're on all fours. This is for pregnancy. You breathe in, you open the chest, looking up. You should not have a big dip in the back, whether you're pregnant or not. You just stretch from the base of the spine to the top of the neck. You exhale, you round the back, just like a cat does. You breathe in, you open the chest and look up. Exhale, round the back. Breathing in, open the chest. Exhale, round the back. One more time. Inhale as you open the chest. Exhale as you round the back. Breathing in, looking up, and to release the back, you can just fold your arms and rest your head on your hands. Come all the way up to a seated position. Take it slowly. Come up to a position that's comfortable for you. I just want to say a couple of things. The cat is I'm going to set my block for a minute. Make sure you're comfortable and sitting tall. The cat is a really good posture to practice in pregnancy. It's really good for the back, the neck, the shoulders, and you gently tone the tummy muscles as well. So again, if you've got any backache, as a general rule, the set of movements, the 7-way stretch, seated 7-way stretch is good, and the cat. Obviously, it depends what's happening with your back. Women can have back problems for all sorts of reasons, and if those movements don't help your back, obviously don't do it. The cat is good in labour, and I'm going to show you now how we can use the cat in labour. And the cat is also really good postnatally. So when you contract, you can inhale, open the chest. When you exhale and round the back, I know it's hard to imagine now when you're pregnant, you can actually contract the tummy muscles. You will be able to do that again, which is a nice thing to be able to do. So if you like the all fours position, if it's okay for your knees and okay for your arms, it's a really good one. But if you've got problems with your knees, you can do that same position standing. If you're coming to a class, then I'd obviously want to talk to you one-to-one and show you how you can do it specifically for you. I know that lots of people have dodgy joints, dodgy knees, and so we need to be able to work with them. So what I'm going to show you is how we can use the cat in labour, and you're on all fours. So there's 3, I like to keep labour really, really simple. You don't need a PhD to give birth. You need one sheet, you need to be able to work with your breath, and you need simple basic movements. So the first position we can do is just a rock. You're just going forward and back, sighing your breath out. And you're only going forward a little bit. You're not doing some big backward bend or anything. You're just rocking between your hands and your knees. And we're working with the breath. So we're just going to sigh the breath out as you go back. So you can practice. We're going to look at 3 main positions for labour. And it's actually good to do them in pregnancy as well, because they're good ones to work with the back. You breathe through your contractions. You breathe in, you sigh your breath out. So these 3 positions we're going to do, you can do them on the all fours. You can do them kneeling. You can do them standing. You can do them leaning against the kitchen table, the back of the sofa. And if one of them doesn't feel comfortable for you, just leave it out. So that's our first position. You can also do this leaning against a ball and with a small stool. And the second one is just take the hips from side to side. Just get a slow, steady movement, just rocking from side to side. So you breathe in through the nose, you sigh your breath. Breath, movement, contraction, working together. Make sure you feel comfortable. Any discomfort, and you can stop and send a message to Jade and ask me at the end of the session. And the third movement is take your hips round and round. So it's a rocking movement. And that's our 3 movements. You can do those 3 movements and you can work with your breath. You're nearly prepared for labour. So breath, movement, contraction, working together. Your birth, your baby, your labor. And just see your contractions coming like the waves of the sea. They come into shore and they leave. Each contraction will end. And if your wrists are getting tired, we're going to stop now, but you could always go into a kneeling position. You can always use the ball. So what we're going to do is we're just going to release the back, hands, head on your hands, bottom in the air. And slow. So that last position we did, when we lean forward with the bottom in the air, is really good if labour's going too quickly. I know it is hard to imagine that labour will go too quickly, but it can happen. And so when you go into that position, it tips the weight of the baby's head off the surface. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into standing position. So you want to stand up very slowly. You can go onto all fours and push yourself up, or find whichever position is comfortable for you. It is important to be able to sit tall, and it's also important to be able to stand tall. So just have your feet slightly apart, have your hands by your side. Think heel, think crown of your head. And be aware of your weight evenly distributed between both feet. Spread the toes, raise the arches. Be aware of the heel and ball of each foot. And lengthen the tailbone and open the chest. So what we want to do is to stand tall and allow space for your baby. And we're going to breathe in, take both arms up, take the arms to the front. You're going to miss my fingertips. Stretching up. And as the arms come down, sigh your breath out. The spine rises, the shoulders drop, the chest is open, the chin is lifted. Take the palms out. Breathing in. And exhale, the arms come down. Breath, movement, working together. We're going to go up on the toes. If it's not comfortable on the toes, stay on the heels. Breathe in as you come up. Exhale, the arms come down. The heels come down. Take your palms out to the side. Breathing in. Come all the way up. Arms outwards. Exhale, breath, movement, working together. And if you just want to have a little twist, have a little dance. So what we want to do in yoga is to stretch, to strengthen, to relax, to tone the whole of the body. And we are working mentally, physically, emotionally, for standing tall. Mentally, we are helping to focus and concentrate. Physically, stretch, strengthen, tone, relax. And emotionally, to bring a balance. For us women, our hormones have got a lot to answer for, from menopause, and I'm not sure when it stops. Certainly the other side, from when we menstruate to the other side of menopause, that's what I meant. And pregnancy is no exception. So practicing yoga slowly with the breath helps to bring about that balance. So what I'd like to do is do another one of these totally undignified movements. I'll show you it sideways first of all. And my knees are soft, and I breathe in as I tap the tailbone forward. Breathe out as I come back. You can have your hands on your tummy or on your hips. This is the part of your body you want to move in labour. If you lie down, you won't be able to move this part of your body. Let's practice it together. So your feet are apart, your knees soft. You breathe in as the tailbone comes back. Breathe out as you go forward. Just working in your own time. So the knees aren't moving with this, it's only this part of your body. If you have to lie down in labour, if you lie on your side, you will be able to use this part of your body. But if for whatever reason, and there could be a really good reason why they want you to lie on your back, don't fight it, roll with it. Then your experience will be better. Let your next one be your last. Have a little twist. So we're just going to have a little rock of the hips. So when we were on all fours, we were rocking from side to side. So this is just a very nice movement to practice in labour. This is all for the first stage of labour, the one we did on all fours. Now take the body all the way around. And all the time, breath, movement, contraction, working together, your birth, your baby, your labour. So even in pregnancy, this is a nice movement to practice generally, but we're doing it for labour. And then there's the other one where you just go back and forth. And remember, you don't know what you need in labour till you get there. And your next one, be your last. Have a little twist. If you'd like to take yourself into a seated position, and I'd just like to talk about two things. And the first one is your pelvic floor. I always like to give a little pep talk on your pelvic floor. Pelvic floor is like puppies and babies, it's for life. And we need to do a minimum of 30 pelvic floor a day. So after this session, when you next go for a wee, which I'm sure won't be long after the session, see if you can stop mid-flow. If you can stop mid-flow, 30 is fine. Better make it 40. So there's two types of pelvic floor. There's what I call the quickie. And then, while I'm saying this, we should all, me included, do a quickie pelvic floor. Nobody's going to know. And so we want to do at least 10 or 15 quickies. And then we want a long, slow pelvic floor. So what we do with a long, slow pelvic floor, I'm going to talk you through it, is you can choose to do it on an inhalation or an exhalation. So we'll do one of each and you can see which you prefer. So before we start, you inhale and you contract the muscles of the pelvic floor. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going, like going up the lift of a tall building. Pause, contract again, sigh, your breath out. Okay, let's do this. Just before we start, let me say a healthy pelvic floor is more likely to stretch without strain and less likely to tear. So I can't emphasize how important it is to practice your pelvic floor. And then after you've had your baby, you need to get all of your body back to its natural shape, and your pelvic floor is no exception. Okay, let's try our pelvic floor. So don't worry if everything else contracts at the same time. So as you inhale, just begin to contract the muscles of the pelvic floor. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Pause briefly, contract again. Sigh your breath. Okay, if that wasn't dead easy, it's just practice. Okay, we're going to try it this time with an exhalation. See which you prefer. As you exhale, contract the muscles of the pelvic floor. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going a bit more. Pause. Contract again. Okay, one more in your own time. Now this time choose whether you want to contract on an inhalation or contract on an exhalation. Okay, and also keep the jaw nice and loose. Remember, there's this sympathetic relationship between the mouth and the vagina. So if you're holding all this part of your body tight, this is not going to help the other half of your body. We want to work with the whole body. Okay, so very slowly begin to contract the muscles of the pelvic floor on your choice of in or exhalation. Keep going, keep going. Pause. Contract again. Really. Okay, well done everyone. So that is something that's just one of those things forever. I do have a whole lot of postnatal movements, and pelvic floor are obviously with them. I mentioned low sounds earlier on, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about low sounds at this point. And I suggest humming, but you don't have to hum. It doesn't matter what low sound it is, as long as it's low. It could be an oo or an ah, it could be a moo like a cow. I did actually once have somebody and she laughed her baby out. So you never know. But humming is a really good way of working with the breath. It brings about a sense of stillness, but it also helps the exhalation to be long. And because of the sympathetic relationship between the mouth and the vagina, it helps let go of the muscles around the mouth. Now, this is just shows you how long I've been teaching yoga to pregnant women, but it was in the late 1990s that I first brought in humming. I thought, oh, everybody's going to think I'm really wacky, think this is what yoga is, you have your hands like this and you hum. And so I brought in humming for women to use in labour. That first stage of labour, we've got different, and low sounds for the second stage is also good, but I'm just looking at the first stage. And then women kept coming back to me saying they'd hummed all the way through labour. And often in classes, women would say, I hate humming, Nerissa. They wouldn't say I don't like it. They say, and then they'd phone up and say, I hummed. So don't rule anything out. You might think, oh, I don't like this. And then you find, actually, this really helps. So we'll do a little hum together and just take it away with you. And if you have, like Jade has a 19-month-year-old, you can teach your toddler to hum. It is very unlikely you're going to get through childhood without the odd cut knee. I've had, with my sons, I had 2 broken arms, I had a road accident, I've had all lists of stuff, and the fact that they could all work with their breath has held them in good stead, not just as children, but for life. And humming was brilliant when they were young. So we're sitting tall and we'll just hum together. So my hums are quite long, A, because I'm not pregnant, so there's nothing affecting my diaphragm. Also, I've been humming for many years. Just do a hum the length that suits you. Okay. And just for a minute, just softly close your eyes. And just notice how your body feels this afternoon, which parts of your body feel comfortable and which parts don't. And notice how you feel, happy or sad, distracted. And be present. Be here now. And breathe. Note your thoughts. Come back to your breath. And be aware of your baby, safe, comfortable, secure inside. And let your breath be comfortable. This is your time. Your breath is slow and steady and even. And bring your awareness back to this room, to whichever room you're in. And just begin to think about movement. And gently move fingers and thumbs, toes and heels. Haven't opened your eyes, open your eyes. Take your arms up and over your head. Just stretch, yawn if you want to. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. If there's any questions, please ask. If not, you can always get back to Jade or myself at a later time.
There is a couple of questions, if you're happy to just answer them quickly.
Okay.
Somebody's asked, is it good for weight loss after pregnancy, or is it just for your muscles and mind?
Say that again.
Is it good for weight loss after pregnancy, or is it just for your muscles and mind?
Well, after pregnancy, does yoga help you lose weight?
Yeah.
I think after you've had a baby, you need to allow, I know this sounds like a long time, you need to allow, especially after a second baby, probably about a year to get back to your natural shape. Yoga will help to stretch, strengthen, tone the body throughout that period. And I think as a general rule, you do need to work with your body to get back to your natural shape. When I had my twins, I had 3 stone on my tummy. So I did get back to my natural shape, but it didn't happen overnight, and I did have to do some work.
Yeah, I'm still not there 19 months later.
It does take time, but it can happen.
Can I harm my baby if I do it wrong?
It depends what we mean by doing it wrong. The yoga I am teaching is totally geared up for pregnancy and birth. So I can't answer for any other yoga movements. I can only answer for my own and the way I teach. Everything I teach is geared for pregnant women and optimal fetal positioning. I wouldn't recommend doing yoga that wasn't specifically geared for pregnancy.
So use a specialist basically, like you would with any class, pregnancy or baby related.
Sorry?
Don't worry, I was just saying it to everybody. What was the other one? I've lost it. How soon after a C-section can I do postnatal yoga?
I think I think both with a C-section and a general birth, you need to wait a minimum of 6 weeks. After a C-section, it depends how you feel. It might be another couple of weeks. Certainly within 2 months, you should be able to get back to postnatal yoga. Again, with antenatal yoga and postnatal yoga, it's really important you're working with somebody who is specialised in those areas, because it takes about a year to get back to your natural shape after you've given birth. For the first 8 months in particular, there's various movements that you actually shouldn't do, which just wouldn't be good for your body.
And I'll just ask as well, how early on in your pregnancy can you do it?
Say that again?
How early on in your pregnancy can you start yoga?
Well, I think that is a very good question. I am trained with the British Wheel of Yoga, and I'm actually not insured to teach until a woman is 15 weeks old. 15 weeks, not 15 weeks old, until 15 weeks pregnant.
Okay.
So I just have to work by that, really.
Okay. And just one last one. I do have SPD. Can I do a normal yoga class, or do I have to have a one-to-one bespoke class?
Right. If you've got SPD, certainly don't do a normal yoga class. That's the first question, the first answer, first part of the answer. The second one, if you're going to a yoga for pregnancy class, it's really important your teacher knows and that he or she adapts to your needs. If they don't know about SPD, then don't do it. You need to be with somebody who knows what they're doing. If you've got SPD, you need to go and see your midwife so she can refer you to a physio. It's important to keep your knees together, and some women find a belt very useful, because some women really hate a belt and don't find it useful. But if you've got SPD, it does just help keep you in place. I don't know if you can see my hands round here. And yeah, you just have to be extra cautious, definitely.
Brilliant, thank you. And yeah, like Nerissa said, if anybody else has any questions, just pop them in the comments, message me, and I can ask her for you. I'm sure she'll be happy to answer.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for your time, Nerissa, and thanks everybody for joining us. I hope it helped everyone, and I know some people will be watching it back later, so yeah, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
See you. Bye.